So why is this important? Because studies show that Americans gain approximately 1 to 2 pounds of weight every holiday season. So when I tell people that, they usually say, well, Maggie, that's not a lot of weight. 1 to 2 pounds, that's not too bad. But the issue is that we don't lose it. We carry that weight from year to year. So over time, that weight accumulates. So let's do a little bit of math. 1 to 2 pounds times 10 years, that's 10 to 20 pounds. And studies also show that overweight and obese people tend to gain more weight. They gain closer to that 5 pounds during the holiday season. So let's do the math there. 5 pounds times 5 years, we're easily at 25 pounds. Do that by 10 years, we're at 50 pounds. So now we have an excess of 25 to 50 pounds that we've gained over time. So we know that that excess weight is what contributes to disease, to diabetes, to high blood pressure. So that's why it is important for us to be mindful about this during the holiday season. So how does this happen? How do we just gain all this weight during the holiday season?
Too much.
That's right. We are exposed to an abundance of food and alcoholic beverages during the holiday season, because food is the main event. Somebody said it. Food is what I look forward to during the holiday season. Now, we're all Church of Christ in here, majority, and I know none of you all engage in alcoholic beverages, so I don't have to talk too much about that. But this is the perfect time that we bring out the cookies, the cakes, the dressings, the pies, the exotic beverages. And so if you're anything like me, you don't just go to one holiday event, you go to multiple holiday events. So, thank you, Dad. So, for me, my work has, my job has a holiday party. My gym has a holiday party. My department at work has a holiday party. The church sometimes used to have a holiday banquet. So these events accumulate over time, and we overindulge typically at this event, so that's how we end up gaining that weight. And so even for us that do have a pretty good routine, during the holiday season, we're off work, we may be going out of town, and so we're getting out of our routine. And so that can cause us to kind of fall off the train. So even though we get to enjoy our favorite foods and beverages, our holiday indulgences can leave us in somewhat of a precarious situation. So can anybody kind of tell me why they feel that way? Even though we kind of just talked about that with the weight gain, but is there anything else that kind of sticks out to you why this may put you in kind of a sticky situation?
Yeah, because you're with family, you're like, okay, so we don't often get together, so, you know, let me just not be a spoiler and say, yeah, I'm not eating that, and everybody else feel like, well, why are you not going to eat, you know, so you just want to kind of go with the flow of the party.
Right. You don't want to be the odd one out. And you know, sometimes us African Americans, when you try to do right, people think that something is wrong with you, that you're ill. So yes. And anybody else have anything to share? But also kind of what comes to my mind is when we do all these indulgences and just kind of go all out, is it puts a lot of us in a worse situation than when we started, when we started going into the holidays. So prior to the holidays, we might have had a really good fitness routine, we might have had a really good nutrition routine, and we thrived on a set routine and schedule. And then after we do those indulgences, after we go to all those holiday parties, we feel bloated, we feel sluggish, we feel tired. Now we feel obligated to have all these New Year's resolutions. That's where a lot of those come from. We've been so bad during the holiday season that now we've got to set all these intense goals to get back on track. So can anybody relate to that?
Oh, yes.
I definitely can. So how can we get the best of both worlds? How can we stay healthy and enjoy our favorite foods all at the same time? I'm glad you asked. So here are my top tips on how we can stay healthy during the holiday season. So my first one is eat. Don't come to the party on an empty stomach. So I used to be notorious for this. There would be a party at 6 or 7 that night. So I would say, you know what, I'm going to skip breakfast. I'm going to maybe like eat a little, or maybe like eat like something really small for breakfast. Skip lunch so that I can go to the party on an empty stomach and eat whatever I want. That is not a good plan, guys. Why?
Because you overindulge.
Exactly. You're ready to conquer the day. Especially if you had a bowel movement that morning and you're clear. You're ready for whatever. So it does. It sets you up for overeating. So what I want you all to do is make sure that you eat well throughout the day and that you're staying hydrated and drinking plenty of water throughout the day. So what does that look like? If you do have a party at 7, make sure you eat a good breakfast. It has protein, carb, and fat. Same for lunch, making sure you're eating a pretty balanced lunch. And maybe that could be around 2 or 3 so that, obviously that you're not going full to the party, but that you're not going starving either. Right. So number 1, we want to make sure that we eat and not come to the party on an empty stomach. Number 2, we want to indulge, but not too much. Not too much. So it's the holidays. We talked about that. You should be able to eat the foods that you enjoy, especially foods that are only prepared during this time of year. However, we really just want to make sure that we're practicing balance. That's going to be the big word that I want you all to take away from this is balance. Because we want to enjoy, but we also just don't want to overdo it. So something that I tell a lot of my clients is that first we want to fill our plate with non-starchy vegetables. So who knows, can someone tell me some non-starchy vegetables? Greens, yes. What else? Salad. Carrots. A little controversy on that. Some people say it's starchy, some people non-starchy. But yes, broccoli. Cauliflower. Yes. So green beans, if somebody say green beans, that's non-starchy as well. Yes. So a good rule of thumb would be to first fill your plate with non-starchy veggies and then our healthier proteins that are not fried and battered. And then add in our foods that we like the dressing, the macaroni, our rolls, and different things like that. And then, of course, we can't leave out dessert, but instead of using a normal size plate, let's just save a small plate for desserts instead. Okay?
I've been doing it backwards.
Okay. That's why you're here, Greg. That's why you're here. So, just a good rule of thumb: indulge, but not too much, and make sure we're filling our plate with non-starchy veggies and healthy protein. So number 3, and that way I knew that if there was nothing that was really healthy to eat, I would at least have one good thing there. And also the host will greatly appreciate you for helping out and bringing something, because we all know during the holidays you want some extra help. Number 4, this is probably my favorite. We want to assess the scene. We want to be detectives when we go to an event. So how many of us have gone to an event, it was buffet style, and you're going down and you're just filling your plate, but the further down you go, you're like, dang, I should even got that. I don't really want this, but now my plate is full. So now I gotta put this plate down and go get another one so I can get what I really want. So I've been in that situation numerous times. So what helps is when you get to the scene or to the party, you scope out what's going on. You walk around, do an assessment, and say, I know I really want that. I really want that. Don't want that. And then that way, you have a mental plan of what you'd like to try before loading up your plate with foods that you may not even really want. So I still recommend that you still do the plan of filling up your plate with non-starchy vegetables and lean proteins, and then just saving that little small piece for the foods that you really want to enjoy. Piece of your plate. Downsize. People don't like to hear this, but it's still good to hear sometimes. Use a smaller plate. Maybe instead of that huge plate that you may have, maybe use a smaller plate. And then that way you can put less food on there, which is less calories, which is a smaller waistline over time. So if there is only one plate size, just kind of make sure you keep your portion sizes in check. So something I tell my clients is use your hand. So usually I say for like non-starchy vegetables, I'll use both of my hands. For protein, I'll use the palm, and then for like my unhealthier foods, like my, not unhealthier, kind of starchy vegetables, I may use my fist, just smaller portions. And so that's kind of a way that you can kind of help keep your portions in check. Drink up, question mark. Watch those liquid calories. What a lot of us don't realize is that our beverages are really kind of what's throwing us over the edge. So alcohol, eggnogs, hot toddies, those are higher in calories, and a few of these drinks can easily add up. Now, I didn't look up an eggnog calories and all that before I came, but I'm sure it's easily 250, 300 calories. So just kind of think about that. If you have 3 cups of that, and a cup is not that big at all, then that's almost 1,000 calories. So that's not even, you haven't even put any food in your mouth. That's just simply from what you've been drinking. So choose drinks that are lower in calories, or just keep your exotic beverages to just 1 to 2 drinks. Just kind of try to keep that in check. Number 7, exit stage left. When you are done eating, exit the table. How many of us have finished eating and somebody comes to the table and they bring a plate of something and you're like, ooh, where'd you get that from? So now you gotta go investigate and you gotta go get it to see if it tastes as good as it looks. Whereas maybe if you would have exited, you wouldn't have seen it and you would have been able to walk away without those extra calories. So if you linger at the table, you may be tempted to continue eating even if you are not hungry. Stay long enough to enjoy the meal, but leave the table while you can and go socialize with friends, or, one of my favorites, go take a walk around the block to burn those calories. And studies do show that after we get done eating, if we go for a walk, that helps to lower our blood sugar, which over time can help us to lose weight. So, exit stage left. Stick with it. Number 8. Holidays can be a busy time. We kind of talked about this before. It's easy to skip out on your regular routine. A lot of us are off work. A lot of us, maybe out of town. We have a lot of different things that we have to do. If we're the host and we're preparing food and we're preparing our home for visitors. But just really try to be intentional about making time to plan out your week and include exercise and meal prepping and eating healthy. And then number 9, kind of what I asked you all in the beginning. What makes the holiday so special? And a few of you all said family and friends. So just kind of remember that. Remember that the holiday season is about celebrating Jesus Christ, about being with our family, and just really being thankful for all the blessings that we've received. Okay. Does anyone have any questions? And it doesn't have to be about the presentation. It can be about nutrition in general.
How do you keep a routine? Like if you start a routine, what are some tips to keep that routine going? Because as you get started, days turn into weeks and you'll find yourself not doing the things that you set in place. Is it because you set too many at once, or should you just do one at a time? I mean, how do you start a good routine?
Right. I kind of think it differs from person to person. So you have to kind of know yourself and know just kind of what you can manage. So I do it by starting small and then kind of building on that. And what I found too is that a lot of people need that accountability piece. Like you kind of need someone that's kind of on the same track as you, that's encouraging you and that's telling you, hey Amina, like, did you meal prep? Did you go to the gym this week? Like, did you do that? So I think that it's kind of looking deep within and, like I said, starting small and then building up. But like I said, just doing what you need to do in order to be consistent. And that looks different for everyone. For me, I need somebody in my ear saying, Maggie, why didn't you show up today? Maggie, did you do this? And everybody's different. Some people are naturally motivated. Talk to Brother Mitchell. I feel like he's one of those people that are naturally motivated. But as I said, most people are not that way. So you have to really do what works best for you.
I have 2 questions.
Okay.
So you talked about a calorie deficit. What's a good rule of thumb on how many calories I should go into a deficit? Like, if my body naturally burns like 2,000 calories a day, should I shoot for like 1,500, or should I shoot for less than that, or should I shoot close to what my body burns, or?
Okay. So, did I say a calorie deficit?
Well, you were talking about eating less calories.
I was like, I don't think I said calorie deficit, Josh, but yes. So, a pound is equal to 3,500 calories. So a lot of people say, well, if I burn 2,000, if I eat 1,500 a day, then I can, for a week, probably lose or drop 1 pound. That's what I learned in school. But I found over time that nutrition is so individualized, and that in theory that sounds good, but that might not be just really exactly what works for you. And honestly, just kind of how I've evolved over the last decade, I don't even really like to give people a calorie amount or tell people to eat this many calories, because it's just another form of restriction, and I feel like people don't do very well with restriction. So I do feel like that's kind of why, if you are struggling to lose weight and you do kind of find that cutting calories or cutting food groups is not working well for you, that you might have to work with someone, because it is so individualized. And I found even with my own body that what worked for me 2 years ago, it's not working for me today. I gotta do some new stuff. And I find too that the older I get, the harder it is for me to shake back. I used to be able to lose 4 or 5 pounds in 2 weeks. Now, I don't want to get depressed. So now it's not that easy. So yeah, I hope I answered that question. Your second question? I started rambling about other stuff and probably got you off. Yes.
I have a question about artificial sweeteners.
Yes.
I've heard that it actually increases your craving for sugar. So what are your take on it? Can you tell me a little about it? Or do you suggest it, or?
Yeah, that's actually a really good question. So as you all know, we used to drink regular Cokes and regular soft drinks for years, and then the studies came out that it had all this sugar in it. I remember when I was in school, they would be like, a Coke has this many teaspoons of sugar in it, and they would show the visual and you'd be like, oh my gosh, I'm eating all this sugar. And so that's when we kind of saw the shift with the artificial sweeteners and the Diet Cokes and the Coke Zeros. And yes, the studies have shown that, like, especially aspartame, I think that's how you pronounce it, actually can have the opposite effect on you. It can cause you to actually gain weight over time. So I am not a big proponent of artificial sweeteners. The only ones that I'm like okay with are stevia and monk fruit. Like, those are the only ones that I will just really advocate for. But for the rest of them, I would say stay away from them, because they're going to give you the opposite effect. But that's a really good question. Really good question. People don't realize it, because you think you're doing good. Like, I'm drinking a Diet Coke. I'm drinking a Coke Zero, and really, you're not doing a good job. You're not doing a good job. So that's where our health system is failing us.
To catch your question, I used to, when I drink my coffee, I had gotten away from sugar because it's things to do over the years, and then I started taking Equal, and then someone told me that Equal is bad, so they said Splenda is the best, so that's why I rotate myself to the Splenda now.
Right, and I can't keep up with this, so somebody might have to help me. Is Splenda, what is is it, if it's not stevia or again monk fruit, I don't recommend it. Stevia is not, okay, yeah. So those are the only ones that I would advocate for. And honestly, before I did anything else, so first I do stevia, I do monk fruit, and then I would do real sugar. I do real sugar before I did fake sugar, because that's what all that other stuff is. Brother Mitchell? Cane sugar is real sugar.
Yeah, it's unrefined. Yeah. That's unrefined sugar.
Right, right.
Coconut sugar is another good one. It has a low glycemic index. Yeah, so coconut sugar and agave. I actually put honey in my coffee.
Okay. Yes, natural, just natural. As natural as you can go. That's a good one. Thank you, Brother Mitchell. I think you were first.
I just have a question about the drinks. I got a beer problem in that area. I love Coke, but I don't drink. Is one Coke a day too many? I don't drink many, but I drink them.
Right.
And then I found out that's my problem. I already know my problem, but I know the sugar.
Sure.
But you mentioned 1 to 2 drinks. Is that a week or a day?
So actually, that's a really good question. So I actually recommend, for the event,
Oh.
and just during the holiday season. But I think that that's a good point about Cokes, that even when you even though you're just having one, you're still intaking a lot of sugar and just a lot of artificial substances. And what people don't realize is that our health system is so screwed up. Like, they're just putting so many different things in our food that is actually having the opposite effects on our bodies. So we think we're doing something good, putting this in our body, helping us to lose weight, but it's actually doing the opposite effect because our body doesn't know what it is. And so it has a very hard time processing it. So I would recommend that you get to the point where you completely wean yourself off of soft drinks completely, because they have no caloric, no nutritional value, and they are just really wreaking havoc on your health. Okay. But very good question. Sister Gibbons, you were next.
Okay. When I fix my plate for Thanksgiving, chitterlings, ham, salad, fish. Which one of those would you suggest I leave off?
Y'all are gonna make me the enemy. I honestly feel like you can have it all, but you just need to watch your portion size. And how, because like I said, typically we don't just go to one holiday event. Usually we're going to multiple events. So when you're eating like that for one meal, you know, once a year, you know, a couple times a year, that's not a big deal. But it's when we're doing these events back to back to back, and eating like that back to back to back is what messes us up. So, yeah.
Oh, I forgot my desserts.
And like I said, with your desserts, you know, using a smaller plate is something, you know, that you can implement as well, because, you know, a lot of us, we usually get a regular sized plate to go get desserts and get a little bit of everything. And maybe you still can, but just with a smaller plate, and that'll kind of decrease your intake and help as well. So I hope I answered that. I really don't want to tell y'all can't have anything, because I don't necessarily feel like that's correct. You just need to practice discipline and moderation, and what's that word I said? Balance. Because when we deprive ourselves, that's when we want it more. Sister Patricia, I think, was next.
I just want to know, do vinegar burn calories?
Does vinegar, like an apple cider vinegar?
Yeah.
Does it accelerate calorie burn? Like, you mean like just in general, does it make you burn calories?
Does it make you burn?
I don't think so.
Oh, yeah.
I don't think so.
Help keep your blood pressure down.
Now, with apple cider vinegar, there are a lot of health benefits to that. It's got a lot of health benefits. A lot of people say that it does impact your blood sugar, blood pressure. I know the glucose goddess that I follow on Instagram, she recommends having a teaspoon of vinegar, apple cider vinegar and water before every meal to kind of help with your blood sugar, to help with bloating and different things. So apple cider vinegar has, like, because it's a natural substance and it has a lot of good things for your health. So, but as far as like burning extra calories, like accelerating that calorie burn, I'm not exactly sure about that. But it does have a lot of other good health properties.
All right.
What else? Did you have a question? Somebody was pointing to you. Okay.
Who
Who were you?
I was pointing to.
Oh, okay. Mr. Holmes.
Sweets.
Yes.
Is there any such thing as your body craving sweets?
Yes.
Because I feel like my body craves sweets.
I love talking
And
about
I feel
this.
like, sweets gonna be the death for me.
Yes, yes. I don't know if any of you all follow Dr. Mark Hyman, but this is what he talks about all the time, is that our bodies just were not made to consume the amount of sugar that we consume on a daily, monthly, yearly basis. And so, yes, the more sugar that you consume, the more you crave it.
Wow.
Like, literally, if you go do the research on it, the more sugar you eat, even you have to even be careful with your natural sources of sugar. So like what we were talking about with honey, I don't know about you all, but I get started on some honey and I mean I could tear up the whole jar, just being transparent about it. So yes, when the more sugar you eat, the more it causes you to crave it. And you'll notice, like, people that do like the detoxes or the 20-day no sugar challenge, like when you go without it, it's like you don't even want it. Like, you don't even crave it, and then you get it and you're like, like, yeah. But if you think about it, sugar is what's driving a lot of disease. A lot of people demonize salt and other things, but really, in my mind, sugar is the number one public enemy. It really is. It really is.
Sometimes medication is connected to that,
To
the craving of sugar.
uh,
Some medications.
I haven't done any research on that, but I'm not putting it past it.
You know how steroids make you more hungry?
Yes.
So they have a component of, I mean, if you're more hungry and you crave the sugar, then it's more natural that you're gonna.
Right, that's true. Some medications do cause weight gain, and they say that a lot of that is because it causes your hunger to increase. So, but I'm not exactly 100% sure about that.
Okay.
But good question. Probably. Want that from these medicines.
My name is Margie Blackman. I'm Evelyn's sister. And I am on a diet, baby. Well, my doctor, he said I was on the borderline being diabetic, so when he said that, I started my diet. Most I eat is salad, because I love salad.
Okay.
With turkey meat.
Okay.
And it's good for you. And I use the diet salad, like oil and vinegar, and the salad in the diet. I was weighing 350, I'm down to 199.
Oh, congratulations. That's awesome.
I do drink water, but not much I drink those diet Mountain Dew. But I don't really eat a lot of meat and all that. But in the morning time, if I get home, I'm going to fix me a piece of toast with a boiled egg. And a
Okay.
glass of water.
Okay.
And then if I got to, I do make salad all the time. She can tell you that. Because I love salad. So that's all I have to say.
That's good. And I will say this, that's a huge accomplishment. Congratulations. And it takes a lot of discipline and work to do what you did. And I just want to add this, that our bodies were not made to carry this much weight. I mean, they just simply were not made to, and we put such a huge strain on our organs and our joints and our body systems in general when we do have a lot of excess weight. And even like kind of what I was saying with the 1 to 2 pounds that we gained during the holiday season, I mean, for some people, especially if you've got a smaller frame, 5 to 10 pounds can really be detrimental to you and can really be the driver of different diseases. So it really is important. I'm so passionate about this, guys, because especially in our community, I don't think we just realize that we can have such an abundant life if we took better care of ourselves and if we really have the knowledge to do better. So thank you for sharing that.
So I got 2 questions.
Okay.
I've heard that metabolism plays a part in your weight gain and weight loss. Is that true?
So, good question. I was actually listening to a podcast about this not too long ago. So, yes, as we get older, our metabolism does shift, does slow down, but I don't think it's as big of a factor as we think it is. Because, you say, oh, they got such a fast metabolism. My metabolism is slow. This, that. Because genetics does play a little bit in our frame and how we're shaped. But a lot of us just eat bad. It's not our metabolism, we just eat bad.
So is there a food that's slowing down our metabolism and something that we need to avoid?
Sugar.
That's
Sugar and processed food is what's making it harder for you to lose weight.
Okay.
Yes. I think you were first, Ms. Dawn.
She mentioned borderline diabetic.
Yes.
What do they mean by borderline diabetic? I thought you could either be diabetic or not diabetic.
That's what I say. You either is or you ain't. It ain't no in between. But they'll say because they'll do like a fasting lab on you, and they'll do a fasting blood sugar, and then they'll look at your hemoglobin A1C. So ideally, you want your hemoglobin A1C to be around 4%, and you want your fasting blood sugar to be closer to that 80 I say 80, I'm on the lower end, I say 80 to 85, but some people will just say less than 100. So if they see you, like, I guess the last time, maybe if your blood levels were in that range, but then this time when you came for lab work, you were up, you were over 100, or your hemoglobin A1C was closer to that 6 or 7 mark, then they'll be like, oh, we don't really want to diagnose you with diabetes yet because your other labs were good and this one is a little off. So we'll just say you're borderline, and we'll try to manage it either with medicine, tell you to exercise, or tell you to eat better. And then if that doesn't change, and then your labs don't change, then we'll say you're a diabetic. But I was talking to somebody the other day who's now my client, and she said that she's been borderline diabetic for 2 years. And I'm like, listen, in my mind, like, either you is or you ain't. And you probably is after 2 years. So, yeah, that I think that's a good point.
Medicine, metformin, I see a lot of pros and cons on that.
Absolutely.
Some say that you shouldn't take metformin because it kind of attributes to your diabetes. And then some say, that there's something else that you can take. And I had talked to a doctor about metformin and see if she could change. She said, no. So, what is your thought on that, since you deal with that field?
Yeah, that's the good thing about me being a nurse and a dietitian. I know a little bit about medicine too. So most of the time when you get diagnosed with diabetes, that's what they'll start you on. 500 milligrams metformin day and night. If you're not controlled, still even with the metformin, they'll bump you up to 1,000 day and night. And then if you're still not under control, they make sure, because now they got so many, you can attest to this, they got so many oral diabetic meds, I don't even know them anymore. But usually if you can't control it with the meds, that's when they put you on insulin. But I mean, honestly, and I'm implementing my own beliefs here, I'm just against pharmaceuticals in general, because I mean, there's just, now I'm not saying don't take your meds, hold on, I feel like I gotta take your medicine, but I think that a lot of the conditions that we have can be solved through food and movement, because think about it, like, God is so, and the more I study like the body, I just realize just how amazing our God is. Amen. Like, if you just, I mean, if you just sit down and think about our bodies, like, are a machine. Like, y'all, I mean, it's just amazing how God created us. Our body is self-correcting. Like, once we kind of get to the root cause of what's going on with us and solve that and eat better and move better and just kind of, and if you think about it, just how our bodies are made, like, our bodies were made to move. They weren't made to sit in chairs. They weren't made to be in a bed. Like, and so I just feel like when we get to back to the basics, and when we really just tap into our bodies, then we'll see that we were just never really made to be on a bunch of medicine. And that's what I find too, just with a lot of people on metformin, is they eat whatever they want. They have a crappy diet, but they think that the medicine is just going to be life-changing, and it's not. So, short answer, no, I'm not for any medicine. I'm not for anything. I'm with correcting it through nutrition and exercise first. But like I said, don't stop taking your medicine. Don't stop taking your medicine. I'm not saying that. All really good questions. I wasn't expecting to have all these great questions, but this has been good.
One thing, when you said the apple cider vinegar and water, how much water did you say?
I think 8 ounces. I think she recommends 8 ounces, and I get it. Brother Mitchell probably does this. I get it mixed up. Is it 1 teaspoon or 1 tablespoon of?
Tablespoon.
Is it tablespoon? Okay, yeah. 1 tablespoon to 8 ounces of water before your meals.
And you can add a little honey.
And I used to shot it. I used to take shots in the morning, but then I went to the dentist, and the dentist was like, "Do you drink a lot of vinegar?" And I was like, "How do you know?" And she was like, "'Cause your teeth, I can tell by your teeth." So I would recommend putting in 8 ounces of water rather than shotting it.
If you do the shot, you need to follow with a glass of water.
Yes, or that. Yes, I prefer to shot it.
And you can add some honey in it if you can.
Greg wants to make sure you all hear that. Add some honey.
I do it, so I know.
And I think that's another thing. I'm coming. And that's another thing about just kind of individualized nutrition. How I just think everybody's body is so different because I don't do well with honey. Like, I just don't do very well with it. The more honey I eat, the more like weight I gain, and like I'll crave sugar. So, you know, just kind of listen to your body, get in tune with your body, and know what works, because what works for me may not work for you, and vice versa. So just kind of keep that in mind too.
Well, I had a friend, she went to the doctor, and they told her sugar levels were a little high. And so she just went cold turkey off of sugar.
Yeah.
And it made her sick.
Really?
Sure.
Well, yeah.
It really made her sick. She's been fighting with it ever since.
Right.
You know, and everything. But me, I don't do a lot of sodas and anything, but when I look at the labels, they're so full of sugar.
Oh, my
Yeah,
goodness.
and if I do a soda, it takes me a couple of days to do a soda.
Right.
But I only do them when I just crave them, you know.
Right.
And then I want something, then I get it over, and then I just kind of play it back. I just do the water and stuff like that. But
Right.
the cold turkey, it doesn't work.
And you know what? And I think that's an excellent point, because think about it with alcoholics. When they go cold turkey off alcohol, what do they do?
They have withdrawals.
I mean, they look like they about to. Some of them have seizures. Some of them have seizures. Some of them go into. I mean, it gets very dramatic when, and you almost feel like they're faking. Like you're like, is it really take all that? But honestly, when you've been on, I grew up eating crab. Nothing against my parents, but I mean, I just love crab. I love processed food. I love sugar. And so I'm 33 now. So I was eating like that for what, 20, 25 years. So now all of a sudden I'm going to go cold turkey. My body's like, what you doing? Oh, I'm about to fight this. I've been getting this for 25, 30 years, and now you want to do something about it? So yeah, a lot of people will get sick. A lot of people will have withdrawals and just go through different things. But I think if you do decide to, I'm not against going cold turkey on sugar, but I think if you do decide to do that, be prepared that your body is going to fight back against you. Your cravings are going to intensify, but you gotta stay the course, because in the long run, your body is going to thank you for it.
Okay, I want to ask you a question, baby. I do the cooking. When you cook greens,
I don't know nothing about cooking greens, but continue.
when you cook the greens, you do put oil and a little sugar.
Okay.
And see your greens is still bad now, right? Because I cook greens for my family.
Well, I think that's a good question, because not all oils are bad for your health.
I use olive oil.
And you have to have oil to cook. I mean, we read about olive oil in the Bible. So it's not bad. It's just these new ones that they're coming out with a bunch of vegetable oils and our Crisco's and, you know, different things like that. Like, that's what we want to stay away from. I'm not against oils, all oils, but obviously you want to do more of the healthier ones.
And then there's another question I want to ask you about the equal, because my doctor told me that the blue pack and the yellow pack was really real good for me. So he said the trivia pack.
Trivia.
Yeah.
Is that stevia?
Yeah.
I don't keep up with them anymore. Okay,
It's
so.
trivia, I think.
Yeah, that's stevia. Truvia
Truvia, stevia. Okay. And then another thing with y'all's doctors giving y'all nutrition advice. Do y'all know how many hours of nutrition that doctors get in med school? Like, just take a guess. One. 1 hour. They don't know I'm not gonna say they don't know anything, because Dr. Mark Hyman is a physician, and he knows a lot about nutrition. But most of your doctors do not know anything about nutrition. They know how to diagnose and prescribe. Okay? And for our advanced ones, they know how to do surgery. So that's what I'm saying, y'all. A lot of us need to link up with a dietitian, with someone that specializes in nutrition, because we're the experts. Okay. Any more questions? Mitchell.
I know we didn't initially intend to do this live, but we actually have quite a few.
Now, what did I say? I said
questions. Well, we didn't intend to do it live, but it just worked out like that. So we actually have some questions coming through the live stream.
Okay.
One was in reference to what about diabetics, and I think you've addressed that already.
Well,
And what about diabetics?
right.
And I think you've addressed that already, but if we need clarification, I'll repost.
Okay.
The second question is, what can or should you drink if you are tired instead of coffee? I put a lot of creamer in my coffee.
So I love coffee. I think that coffee has a lot of really good nutritional value. Quality coffee, quality organic coffee is what I would recommend. But how we devalue coffee is when we put a bunch of sugar and creamer in it.
Yep.
So, Joshua. So, I mean, it just becomes a sugary drink, and honestly, it gives you the opposite effect because the sugar is what drains your energy and what makes you feel even more tired. So, what was the question?
So what
else?
What
Okay.
else should I drink instead of coffee when I'm tired?
So high quality organic coffee is fine to drink. Yes, there are a lot of good natural teas, but let's go even deeper with this. What does your sleep look like? What does your nutrition look like? What do your stress levels look like? A lot of us, we kind of want a quick fix. Like, what energy drink can I do to get more energy? But a lot of us, we just need to get, like I was saying, get to the root. Like, am I sleeping at night? Am I getting 7 to 9 hours? Am I, woo. So, my top coffee is fine, but black and water, natural teas, and getting to the root cause of why you're not, of why you're tired. Is that the only question?
Those were, but I had some. You talked a lot about getting off of sodas, getting off of sugar.
Right.
Can you recommend the best way to wean yourself? Because what happens with me, I'll get off, and I'm really disciplined about my diet.
You are.
And my eating habits and exercise.
You are.
But if I get off of, even during the holidays, I swing to the extreme. You know, I overdo it. And so I have to work really hard to get back in the pocket on my discipline.
Sure.
As long as I'm disciplined, I'm good.
Right.
Sugar doesn't bother me. Desserts doesn't bother me. I can walk away, no problem.
Right.
As long as I stay in it. But to your point, I'm self-motivated, but most people can't do that. So how do you get from a soda a day, 4 or 5 packets of sugar in my coffee, and 2 tablespoons of creamer in my coffee?
Right.
How do you get from that to discipline? I know this is for my health. I want to live better. I want to feel better. How do I get to that place?
Right. That's a good question. So I think kind of like what we were talking about earlier is just being intentional and having a plan. So being intentional may be working with a professional. Being intentional may be sitting down at the beginning of the week and being like, okay, this is what I'm going to do. This is what this looks like. So, and I think that's a good point, how even the most motivated of us, we have a plan that we're a routine that we stick to, but then during the holidays, we just get off track. So I think that an accountability partner is a good idea. I think that having, like I said, just being intentional and having a plan, writing it down, making your vision clear on what you want to do, what your goals are, and just finding a way to stick with it. And like I said, a lot of us, which I'm going to talk about here in a second, but a lot of us don't want to pay anybody to do anything. But sometimes you need to pay for accountability, guys.
That's right.
Sometimes you know, you just kind of have to bite the bullet and do that. And for some of us, that's what we need, especially if we don't have someone by our side that we can rely on to hold us accountable. So just being intentional, having a plan, having your goals, knowing what you want, and doing it. I mean, I don't have, and I think that's what a lot of people want. They want a magic potion. They don't want to put the work in, but they want to see results. And guys, that's just not how it works. That's not even how Christianity works.
All right.
Like, so I really just want us to get that out of our mind that if you want it, if you want something, you have to put the work in. Like, period. Period.
You have cards?
Yes, and I'm about to talk about something. And you know I gotta advertise.
You got quick.
Oh, Gentry?
Yes, when it comes to your eating schedule or eating late at night or eating once or twice a day, or eating like at 9 one day and eating at 2 or 3 the next day or next week, how does that affect your metabolism, affects your body?
Yeah, that's actually a really good question. So, usually a lot of people recommend, and I'm one of these people that recommends eating within an hour of waking up, because when we don't, we throw our hormones off. It can affect our energy levels throughout the day. It can just kind of wreak a havoc on your body. So I would recommend being consistent with the timing of your meals. And also I am, and this is something I'm working on, I love to eat late at night. Like, it's something about eating in my bed late at night that I'm just like, it's just so comforting. I don't know what it is, y'all. It's just so comforting to me. Something happened in my child. Something happened. But it's probably one of literally the worst things that you can do for your body. Because from what Dr. Hyman says is that when you eat late at night like that, so when we sleep, that's like our body's recovery process. So when our body is trying to digest food and trying to do its thing at night, it's a battle. It's a battle. And then of course, if you've eaten late at night and now you're laying down, that creates even more issues with it. That's why a lot of us have acid reflux and struggle with a lot of different health conditions. And from what Dr. Hyman says as well, is that our metabolism is not as fast at night. Kind of going back to that question, there is a science to this, but our metabolism does slow down at night because that's the recovery process. So that can lead to weight gain when we're eating late at night like that. So I usually recommend stop eating about 2 to 3 hours before you go to bed.
And if you can. But sometimes, I work late sometimes.
Sure.
And I get out probably about 9, 10 o'clock at night.
Sure.
What's the best thing to eat? If I had to eat, because I got to eat.
That's a good idea. That's a good question. So I would go on the lighter side, and I would definitely make sure I eat a protein, a fat, and a carb. So what does that look like, Maggie? So maybe a piece of like a 2 to 3 ounce piece of chicken, maybe like a small portion of broccoli, and some nuts. I don't know, that's just off the top of my head. But just something that's pretty easily digestible, but that's healthy. Healthy, and includes all the food groups. Yes, Brother Mitchell.
Kind of take us back to what you were saying earlier about how diet can, God has made our bodies in such a way it can self-correct and heal itself.
Yes.
And through diet and exercise, we can fix that.
Yes.
Many years ago, I had strep throat. I went to the doctor. I was prescribed erythromycin. I had antibiotic. Had a terrible reaction to it.
Yeah.
After that reaction, I was extremely allergic to any corn product. High fructose corn syrup is in everything. In ketchup, sauces, sodas. So any corn product, I would have an allergic reaction so severe I would break out with spots on my tongue where the taste buds would just disappear.
Right.
And they sent me to a allergist. And I went to an allergist getting allergy shots for about a year. And nothing helped.
Right.
Eating an apple one day. I ate an apple, and the next day my taste buds came back. And I just, to you paying attention to what I eat and what I put in my body, learned that the counteract that corn allergy, eating an apple a day. So I literally, Anita will make me cut up 2 apples every morning for me. And if I have popcorn, I'll drink apple juice with it. And it will counteract that allergic reaction to those corn products.
Right, right. And that's a good point even about antibiotics, how, they have been so supportive, but they've been such pests as well. So that's another good point about antibiotics. A lot of people don't realize they have it.
Was that staged?
It was. was not at all. So that's a good point about antibiotics, how for a lot of people, antibiotics have wreaked havoc on their health. Antibiotics and birth control, I think, are the two things. Every time somebody talks about giving somebody birth control, I literally cringe because it's probably the worst thing that you can do to your health. And yeah, so antibiotics specifically and birth control, they remove that natural, because in our guts we have good bacteria and we do have some bad bacteria in there as well. But what antibiotics do is they wipe that good bacteria from our guts, and especially the more you take them, because they give out antibiotics like it's candy now. So that's why I said just kind of really be careful. If you don't need them, don't take them. But that's a good point, Brother Mitchell. How our body, I'm telling y'all, our bodies are. God. Let's start crying. God did his thing when he made us. So, did anybody else have any questions? I thought I saw another hand. Okay. Any more questions? Good questions.
From the live stream,
Okay.
they said, thank you so much for making this live. I came in late, but I will rewatch this.
Okay, because I sure didn't want to go live.
Second thing, so I've learned I have to cut out the carbs. I don't drink soda. So you may want to expound on that. Carbs.
They have to cut out carbs, don't drink soda.
But she says I don't drink sodas.
Okay. So honestly, I don't recommend eliminating an entire food group. So macronutrients, a lot of people don't realize this, but we have 3 macronutrients. Our food is made up of 3 macronutrients: protein, fat, and carb. So we have a lot of fad diets that they'll implement or recommend that you cut out an entire food group. Keto is notorious for no carbs. So I don't recommend that because, again, God made carbs, and vegetables are carbs. Non-starchy vegetables are carbs. So our body needs carbs. So I don't recommend cutting out an entire food group. I do think you just kind of have to learn your body and know what works best for you. So for me, even though I say don't eliminate carbs, I have to eat a lower carb diet. I have to eat a higher fat, higher protein, lower carb diet in order to keep the shape that I like. And we all have a shape that we like. Okay, let's just, we all have a weight or a size that we prefer to be. And so I found that for me, that's what I have to do. So, but I never recommend cutting out an entire food group. But great job on no sodas. That's excellent. That's what I want all of you all to get.
Yes, ma'am.
I recognize, what I need to do.
When I want to do good.
It says, sometimes you need some help.
Yes, okay. Come on, Lord. Let's go in here. Okay. Let's take us here. So let's just skip through here. So accountability. So like Sister Esther said, most people know what to do, but they don't. We're intelligent beings. A lot of us know that we need to be eating more vegetables and less fast food. But, yes, and then we need to exercise, but we don't. And I read a good thing yesterday that said, how many of us wake up in the morning and usually don't want to go to work? My hand is high in the air. My 9 to 5. I love doing this, but my 9 to 5. And so, but we go anyway. Most of us go in anyway. Most of us. But when it comes to exercise, we know we need to exercise, but we don't do it. We don't need to eat healthy, but we don't do it. And studies show that when people have an accountability partner, they are more likely to reach their goals. So do you feel like if you had someone holding you accountable on your wellness journey that you would see results? Do you feel like you would do better if you had someone holding you accountable? Well, that's what I focus on in my practice. So like I said, my niche is weight loss and blood sugar management, but also the main focus of my program is on nutrition education and accountability. So I find that a lot of people, even though they know what to do, they still just don't have that basic understanding of nutrition. So I work with you and help you to have a basic understanding of nutrition so that you feel empowered to make healthy decisions on your own. So my program also provides you with nutritional resources and an individualized nutrition plan for you and your unique needs, because like I said, I feel like nutrition is so individualized. So do you feel like having these resources and someone holding you accountable would be helpful? I think so too. It's helpful for me. So what if I told you I had an offer that would help you stay on track during the holidays, teach you the basics of nutrition, and jumpstart your goals for the new year? Would anybody be interested in that? Yes?
Yes.
Okay. So I'm doing a group coaching program. It's going to be 6 weeks. It's going to start November 21st, and it's going to end December 31st, so right around that holiday season. And so this group coaching program will educate you on the basics of nutrition, hold you accountable during the holiday season, and provide you with a sense of community because you'll be doing it with a group. So what does it include? So it includes a 30-minute deep dive session with me, because a lot of us have a story to tell. A lot of us have things that we've been struggling with for years that we just kind of want to bounce off of someone and talk to about it. So it includes a 30-minute deep dive session with me, in addition to a weekly group coaching call. And so on that group coaching call, we will all get on together and we'll have a specific nutrition topic that we'll discuss that night. So it may be blood sugar management. It may be really kind of whatever y'all want to talk about, honestly, whatever the group decides. And so after that discussion, we'll have a live Q&A session. And so we'll also have nutritional resources. We'll have accountability, and the person that loses the most weight or inches from their chest, waist, and hip, they'll receive a really great prize. And also you'll get accountability through me and through this My Coaching app. So do y'all have time? I got y'all over a little bit. Do y'all mind if I show you this My Coaching app? Okay, it's a really cool app actually, and so it allows me to, so on our deep dive session that we'll have together, I was hoping it would go bigger, but anyway, so on our deep dive session, hopefully y'all don't know this person, it allows us to kind of go deep together and set individualized goals for you. So when you download the app on your phone, I will have set up like daily things that I want you all to do. So for her, for this day, she's supposed to submit her food logs. We have a water intake amount that we're supposed to go through, that she's supposed to intake every day, a sleep schedule that I put her on, and then an exercise routine that we develop together. And so when she does it, she checks it, like it'll show up in the app. It'll be like, did you do it or did you not do it? So if she does it, on my end, it'll pop up green. And if she didn't do it, it'll pop up red. So this allows me to just kind of see what you're doing on a daily basis. Like, are you doing the things that we discussed? Like, are you really putting your all into this to reach your goals? So it's just another way of accountability. And also through this, it allows us to message each other and to just kind of talk if you have any questions. And also it allows you to put in your metrics. So, I don't think it's gonna let me do it on hers, but anyway, but it allows you to put up your metrics, and then it also will like show you, like give you a graph and show you how you're doing. Like, are your numbers going down or are they going up? And obviously if I see that your numbers are going up, then we'll need to make some adjustments. So that's what the support looks like from there. So, and we'll also have a monthly meetup. So even though it's only 6 weeks, we'll have like an activity that we'll all get together and do, and it'll be something that we vote on. Like, I'll let you all come to my gym and try out a free class that I attend, or we can just meet up here in the parking lot and walk, or we can go to Pinnacle Mountain. You know, just something where we're together and we're holding each other accountable and getting a workout in. So, a lot of people are wondering, well, how much does this cost? So again, your health is an investment, and I say that you can either pay now or pay later. And usually when you pay now, it's a lot cheaper than later when you have your hospital bills, when you have your medicine bills, when you have all that extra stuff. So normally for this program, I charge $497 for the 6 weeks. But since you're here today with me, since you've shown such an interest in your health, today it's $297. And so that can be paid in full, or it can be paid in 3 installments at $99 every 2 weeks. So after Wednesday, November 16th, this price will increase to $497 because we're getting started November 21st, because we have goals that we're trying to reach for our holiday season. And if you start now, when you get into the new year, it'll be a breeze. You already have a routine, already have something that, a sense of purpose going into the new year. So $297, and like I said, after that, it will, after Wednesday, November 16th, it will increase to $497. So does anybody have any questions about the group coaching program? Okay, well, I've kept you all, oh, go ahead.
There was one other question, so no intermittent fasting?
Okay, that's a good question. And again, I think that it just, I know y'all probably tired of me saying this, but I just think nutrition is individualized for so many people. Like I've seen some people that do very well with intermittent fasting, but people that have specific health problems, intermittent fasting may not be the best for you. So for instance, if you're a diabetic, it's probably not good for you to have an 18-6 window. It just doesn't make sense. So it's just kind of individualized to you, and that's why I say working with somebody just kind of helps them to assess if that's something that would work for you or not. But good question. But a lot of people see really good results from intermittent fasting.
What if you're illiterate on this?
What?
What if you're illiterate on the computer?
Oh, okay. I'll work with you all. I work with you all regularly. I know. I know you all will.
Yeah.
And you know what? And I was really honestly like apprehensive about even promoting that with the app because I've been going here since 1996, so I know you all very well. But I really want to challenge you all to step out your comfort zone and try something new and do something that's going to help you really reach your goals. Like you're not gonna get where you're trying to get staying the same. So this will challenge you in a good way using the app. So thank you all for investing your time to learn more about nutrition. Our bodies are a temple, and we really do, guys. We got to take care of them so that we can do the Lord's work.
That's right.
Okay?
That's right.
So, if we sign up,
Uh-huh.
it's for 6 weeks.
6 weeks.
Is there something after?
There can be.
Okay,